Waspada, pengajaran yang keliru dalam gereja. Shalom, kita saat ini berada di depan sebuah gereja yang bernama Christ Church atau Gereja Kristus. Gereja ini adalah gereja Protestan tertua di Yerusalem. Dan gereja ini pertama kali didirikan tahun 1849. Gereja ini berdiri dengan misi. Misi gereja ini adalah memiliki cinta dan perhatian yang besar pada orang-orang Yahudi dan ingin berbagi dengan mereka kabar baik tentang Mesias Yesus. Kalau kita perhatikan, gereja ini sudah berdiri jauh sebelum orang Yahudi pulang ke tanahnya. Jadi, bukan hanya orang Yahudi, tetapi gereja ini pun punya kerinduan dan mereka berdoa. Mereka memfasilitasi orang-orang Yahudi untuk pulang, untuk aliyah ke tanahnya. Mereka bahkan juga punya mimpi. Para pendiri-pendirinya juga bermimpi untuk orang Yahudi tersebut pulang ke tanahnya. Jadi sekarang kita mau melihat ke dalam dan kita mau bertemu dengan pastornya. Gereja ini berada di kawasan kota tua Yerusalem, dekat gerbang Jaffa. Fakta Israel datang sesaat setelah ibadah selesai dilaksanakan. Ini ada bendera Israel. Sayup-sayup di belakang terdengar seorang penyanyi dari Asia yang sedang memuji Tuhan. Lalu terlihat menorah 7 kaki dian di sebelah belakang dari altar. Ini kaca patri bergambar pohon zaitun. Nah, sekarang Fakta Israel berkesempatan mewawancarai Pastor Ruben, pastor yang baru saja selesai memimpin ibadah tadi. Beliau seorang Yahudi yang sudah menjadi Kristen atau Mesianik. Yuk kita dengerin apa kata Pastor Ruben.
It refuses to understand what the Bible teaches. And it was very clear to the apostles. Paul says it very clearly in the book to the Romans. He says, has God rejected his people? He says, of course not. And we see that the Roman Church was beginning to think that God had rejected Israel and that they were now the new Israel and a replacement for Israel. And Paul was teaching them several things. Mm-hmm. One thing was that God had taken them, the Gentiles, from a wild olive tree, and he was grafting them onto the olive tree of faithful Israel. Not all of Israel, but faithful Israel from the time of Abraham to the time of the early believers. And then Paul was saying to them they should not be ignorant of this mystery and that they should not be proud towards the natural olive branches, which are the Israelites, because the time will come that God will graft the Jewish people back into their own olive tree. Mm-hmm. And the Gentile believers are taken from their wild pagan olive tree and are grafted into the olive tree of faithful, believing Israel. And Paul says, be careful, because you only stand by faith. Mm-hmm. And God is, he says very clearly that God is faithful to his covenants and to his promises in the same chapter. Mm-hmm. He is faithful to Israel in the covenants and promises that he has given her, and the Redeemer will come to Zion and turn Israel from her transgression, and all of Israel will be saved. So that means that the Gentiles who believe are not a replacement. They're not a new Israel or the spiritual Israel. They are grafted in to the holy Israel, which Jesus, the apostles, Moses, and the whole remnant of Israel was part of. And we see today in Israel and over the world that the Holy Spirit is revealing Jesus to the Jewish people once again, and we are grafted back into our own tree, not the Gentile tree, the wild olive tree, but our own cultivated olive tree. And if you read all of Romans 9, 10, and 11 carefully, you can see without a question of a doubt that replacement theology is a big lie, it's a trick of the devil, and it's a form of anti-Semitism. If people understand it or they don't understand it, that is the reality. And therefore Paul says, be humble and do not be proud to the natural olive branches, because God is able and will graft them back into their own tree again.
Salam damai dari Fakta Israel.